All right, come a little closer. Here's the tough part. Once you have your list, once you've identified all the things that can go wrong, once you've identified the training plan for each, you have to do something really important. You have to pick someone to do it. And that's why I say come close, because let's talk about this. That's the most terrifying part. Who do I trust? When to this point, I've only trusted me. We can get into all the psychology you want with this. But the reason that most people don't hand things off is they haven't prepped, they haven't emotionally prepped, and they haven't picked someone just to get going and get it started. So as you identify at least one person for one of these items, then you can start to say, what do I know about them? What do I know about their learning style? What do I know about their work ethic? How can I trust them? How can I work through this so that I can trust them? And then we're going to talk about the baby steps that we take to get there. I want to tell you another story. And this story is one of those, if I had my mirror, I'd be putting it up to my face. So I tell you, and I've told you, that I don't always do this perfectly, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. But the real challenge with me is when there's things that I really, really am afraid of. Let me give you an example. There are so many things I love about owning my own company. I love so many wonderful things, except dealing with the financials. I hate it. I don't like it. I don't like QuickBooks. I don't like entering numbers. I'm not what you'd call, those little teeny tiny details persons. I don't like it. And dealing with the process of entering my receipts and my mileage and my expenses for the month just make me crazy. Then, on top of that, I have to actually run the business and go through the financials and have monthly reports and quarterly reports and annual reports and budgets and comparative budgets. I hate that. I've always hated that. It's always been a part of my job and my career, but I've always hated it. When I own my own business, it's even more challenging. Why? Because I don't have anybody to delegate it to. Well, that's not true. Well, I could hire somebody. That terrified me. Like, who do you hire to come into your baby, your business? Well, I can, and I should, or I could. But finally, after going through this exercise myself many, many times in many other parts of the business, I finally had to look at myself in that mirror and say, Sherlock, you don't like to do the financials. Guess what? They need to be done. And you do have a business partner who is perfectly capable, absolutely talented enough for, and completely willing to do this. Only problem? That business partner is my husband. So you see, there might also be another little challenge here, because emotionally, I have another person then that's now in the midst of my company. Now, he's a business partner, so you'd think that would be, make sense. Well, there's a lot of emotion in this. And I gave that, right up front, that I know that you face it as well. Anytime you have something that you don't know how or don't truly want to give up because it's a little fearful for you. But when I really look at this, here's the thing about the financials. I hate doing them. I don't enjoy them. I dread them. But trusting somebody else to manage the process was just as fearful and just as dreading until I actually did it. So when I finally said, I need to talk to you, honey. I need a CFO, and I want it to be you. It was hard to get those words out. I wasn't really sure I wanted to say them, but I knew I needed to, and I knew I needed to move on in the company in order for me to take the company to the next level. And it was funny because in the beginning, it was very stressful to me until the handoff was done, and then it wasn't stressful at all. But remember when I told you the story about the server, that when he when it first kind of came to light that he wasn't, trusting the rest of his team, they began to lose trust in him, and management began to lose trust in them. I had to look back and even at myself, owning a company and having your business partner be your spouse. If you're unwilling to hand over a part of your business, especially the finances, can't you also have a loss of trust there? Not that there was any reason for me not to be trustful or trusted, but there's a dialogue internally going on with, well, why won't you just let me do it? Why won't you let me help you? What are you afraid of? And that recognizing what you're afraid of is, to me, the real key. Because once we recognize what we're afraid of, we can definitely take steps in the right direction. So here is your assignment. I gave it to you already in one way, but we're going to break it down even smaller. So I already told you to make a list of 5 things that you know you can and should be handing off to somebody else that you really don't like to do anyway. I want you to review that list. And step number 1 of your assignment is to review the list and pick the number 1 thing on there that you most dread handing off to someone else. Yep, I said the one you most dread. The one that makes you go, oh, not that one. If I could just do a couple others, I'd get the courage to do that one. Nope, I want you to go for the hardest one. Why? Because after that, everything else will be so easy. But really because of the second part of this assignment. Once you identify the one that you really are hesitant to give up, I want you to take time to reflect. Why is it that this one is hard to give up? Why are you hesitant to hand it off to somebody else to teach them? What keeps you from just doing this and getting it off your shoulders? That dialogue with yourself, that reflection, is going to tell you so much about what you need to know to be successful now and in the future. And as you go through that process, you will be probably not shocked at a lot of the things you learn, but you will be not able to hide from them anymore. And then that moves into the third part of the assignment, which is simply, then do it today. Get started today. Don't wait till tomorrow, today. And if today just means calling somebody on your team or somebody else and saying, I'm going to start to hand this over to you, and here's how it's going to work. Making it a verbal commitment to somebody to do it will actually, it'll get you not only started, it will be a huge weight off your mind and your back and your shoulders and your stress level. I'll tell you, the night that I handed over all the finances, I slept like a baby. It was great. So as you go through the assignment, the process is really about identifying those emotional triggers within you that keep you into habits that don't benefit you in the long term. And as always, remember, please send us your comments, questions, and concerns at sypapp@shockyourpotential.com. And make sure you are also a registered user in the app, because every month we're going to pick one lucky winner to receive autographed copies of my books.